Hello, everyone. Today, we have the absolute pleasure of being joined by Nadia Carr, who is the CEO of NT Coaching Solutions. Nadia, what a pleasure. How are you doing today?
Hi, Harris. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm doing fantastic today. Thank you for asking.
Amazing. No problem at all. And pleasure to have you on today. Really excited. So, hopefully, we can have an amazing conversation, talk all things business, and hopefully, everyone listening can learn a thing or two. So, without further ado, happy to dive straight in.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Amazing. So, Nadia, if you can take us right to the very beginning, I guess, to where it all got started, perhaps the early stages of your career and journey. And then if you can walk us through perhaps an overview of what your journey looked like getting to the position you're in today.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. It always starts at the beginning, right? And I think for me, I'm a mindset leadership coach. And the reason why I chose mindset was I found it in my journey that was the struggle that I was having. So I had the skills, I had some sort of plan, vision. I was doing very well, like I was successful in my career in administration and healthcare, but I was constantly fighting and struggling with myself, right? It came back down to how I view things. Very organically, people started approaching me, asking me to be their sounding board, to be sort of like a guiding light, like a little, like a little lighthouse at the end. And that kind of got me planted the seed of like, oh, well, maybe I'm really good at this. And because I had walked through myself through this struggle or these challenges of like dealing with my inner conflicts, it became very easy to connect when people were revealing to me in a very vulnerable setting what their challenges were. So I was burnt out, but I had so much energy. I just didn't know where to focus it. And then so I went into coaching. I did my certification and all that kind of stuff. And that began NT Coaching Solutions.
Amazing, amazing. And if you can maybe tell us, for people that don't really know exactly, what does NT coaching really do? What do you specialize in? Who do you work with? For perhaps people who are perhaps interested that don't really know.
Yeah, thank you. So NT Coaching Solutions started, like I said, from a point of view of realigning kind of the core values of oneself and our inner thoughts and making them work for us. So I coach a lot of clients who are coming with that mindset. They are highly driven professionals. They have the skills, they have kind of an idea of where they're going, but something is just not matching. They're working so hard and they're not seeing the results, right? Like, how come I've done all of this and I give myself so much to my people, and my people could be my family, it could be my team, it could be whatever. But why am I not where I'm supposed to be going? And a lot of the times we find out that it's about the stories that we tell each other, the limiting beliefs that we have, adapted from our families, from our societies, from our circle of friends. So I would say mainly entrepreneurs they're struggling with that, or people that are in high, like senior levels, directors or management who are just figuring out what their next step is, right? It's coming time to their succession plan. And it's like, well, I better do something now because I've got so much more to give and I just don't know how to do it properly.
Yeah.
And then I come along.
Now, in your journey of, pivoting to entrepreneurship and business and really doing successful in that, what do you think was the hardest part of your journey, right? What made you really level up mindset wise to be able to become the person you needed to be able to, coach and guide and nurture relationships? What do you think was that turning point in your journey?
It's funny because I think about this a lot. And I thought that I knew exactly what I needed to do with my coaching business. I knew exactly, I needed to be this perfect person who had it all together, who, showed up and was like, like the Instagram lifestyle, hair blowing in the wind, but that's not really relatable. Really, right? Like we are all struggling every single day, really. My biggest shift for me was putting myself in a position of, if I was a client, what would I tell myself? Well, I would tell myself to have a little grace, to learn from my mistakes, to not necessarily look for perfection, but everything that you do, find the excellence in it. Right? That could also mean some mistakes because we're all human beings.
Absolutely.
And having the grace to be like, I tried it, it did not work. And believe me, I made some mistakes along the way. So it was really about putting myself in the mindset of how would I coach myself? Because really everything was here, right? This idea of being perfect was all here. When in practice, I was doing an excellent job, and I continue to do an excellent job when it comes to my business or my clients.
No, amazing, amazing, Nadia. Now, I guess if we can hone in out more on the market side of things, right? What are some industry trends, shifts, new things you're seeing within the industry? How do you think business owners, etc., can navigate these changes that are coming? And how can they avoid getting themselves caught out, in the whole landscape of business and the industry itself? What is your overall take on that side of things?
Well, I think in terms of trends, at least for my industry, it's becoming more acceptable to ask for help.
Okay.
It's becoming more acceptable to, there's so much demand for entrepreneurs. Like we have to be on social media. We have to do the events. We have to do the podcast. We have to do all of this, right? There's only one person. So I think that a trend has always, and I think for solopreneurs is kind of like a shift. More for entrepreneurs and big businesses, they do have teams in place, but it's basically building a team that works well for you and building a team that is cohesive with your goal. So I think learning to kind of ask for the third party, comments or resources, it's a more acceptable way. Whereas before, you had to do everything yourself. And in terms of, I don't know, I think probably one of the things that I would say, at least for coaching and myself, is that, you only really know what you know, and having that extra help and that extra point, sometimes it's a really helpful. Sorry, I kind of lost track of your second question, and I'm trying to. Are you going to be able to edit this?
Yeah. No
Okay.
problem at all.
Can you tell me the second part of the question?
Yeah. It was just a case of how people can avoid getting themselves caught out in the trends, and how can people navigate these trends that are happening, and how can people, become more attuned to these and being able to cooperate rather than having to fight and kind of feel as though they're,
Yeah.
battling heads.
Yeah, for sure. So I think one of the things is having a plan. So understanding that everything has its moment, and everything, if you work a plan, like a 6-month plan, a year plan, a 2-year plan, you can get everything done. All the trends, you can fall into it, you can do the social media, you can do this, you can do that, you can travel around the world, probably not at the same time, or at least not very well at the same time. So understanding that there's a plan, there's a strategy in place, that is probably going to avoid a burnout, the idea of failure, and you're going to stop feeling like you're overwhelmed with anything, but rather you're going to feel like you're achieving stuff because you're moving forward. There's a plan. There's a reason why there's roads and there's lights, then there's stop signs and there's traffic lights. It's to guide the traffic and the flow of things. So I think in the same perspective, when you're a business owner or anything anywhere in life, you kind of need to know, kind of have a map where you're going.
Absolutely. Very well said. Very well said, Nadia. Now, if we can hone in more on the business side of things, anti-coaching now, what are some areas of the business that are going really well and you're going strength to strength, and you're really proud of, and perhaps what are some areas of the business that you're having some challenges, perhaps, and some hurdles you overcome? And it could be any area. It could be marketing, sales, even it could be operations, deliverables. What is your overall take? And
So I think for the business, what's going really well is the coaching, right? Because that's what I am. I'm a coach. That's what I do. I know how to do that very well. I can do it with my eyes closed. The thing that's always challenging or lacking is the next, and getting the visibility, right? And then getting the visibility and the trust, because I am one of many thousands and millions of coaches out there. How to build the trust, how to connect really and resonate with the perfect client, the ideal client, because coaching is a very special and unique relationship where it is a partnership. So I have to like you as much as you have to like me. I have to trust you as much as you have to trust me, right? And well, we've all dated, so it's a bit like that, right? Like you have to go on a few dates, kiss a few bad drugs. No, I'm just joking. But it's definitely the challenges of visibility and the trust on a consistent basis, because you also want to coach the people that you have and you want to give them all you want, but at the same time, you're thinking ahead 6 months from now, a year from now, what's going to happen then? So that's a challenge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if we can hone in more, I guess the trend I wanted to get your thoughts on, because this is something that, people, I guess, are nonstop talking about it. And that's power of social media, right? Content, social media, online presence, where perhaps people before wouldn't really bother that much about being seen or heard. And, whereas now if you're not doing that, it's kind of like, what's going on? So what is your overall take on social media? How important has social media been to you and your business? And again, what are some pitfalls that business owners need to be mindful of to not get caught in a rabbit hole?
Yeah. So social media, I mean, 5 years ago, it was just a way for people to get information, maybe see how your friends are doing. That was it. Now it's everything. You go there to connect, you go there to relax, you really go there to see if anything is of interest for you. You go on social media and it's like your research. So it's pivotal that any business has a social media presence, and it can be very overwhelming for some people. I'm not going to point any fingers who, don't necessarily feel savvy in that sense.
Yeah.
So the pitfalls could be, well, A, you're going to reject it because you're like, no, 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 no. But usually we reject things that we fear, right? We're not giving them a chance because we don't know enough about it. So our first instinct is to reject it. But then when you kind of accept it, I think for myself has been to get some outside help. For me, social media would have been like, get coaching. Here's my name. Here's my number, blah. But that's not enough because when I spoke again earlier about trust, is that relationship, right? So it's a way of building trust. It really is about being in someone's ear a lot, almost on a daily basis, if you will, depending on how much you post, and letting them get to know you and you getting to know them. So I think it's quite pivotal. And I would urge everyone to kind of get on it. And it doesn't have to be at a massive scale. It doesn't have to be, production companies, da, da, da. It could be anything, but getting your feet wet at least is a good start if you haven't already. Get to it.
Amazing. Another trend, Nadia, again, everyone's talking about it, and I guess it's the hype right now, but your thoughts, if you may, please. And that's AI, right? AI, artificial intelligence, technology, software this, software that. So what is your trend? What is your thoughts on AI? Is it something that actually we need to start looking at because it's beneficial? Is it a hype and just let it pass and, or actually is this some sort of, importance to it and we just need to ride the wave? What is your overall thoughts on AI? Is that something you started integrating, playing about with, or are you kind of on the fence? Where are you?
No, I'm not on the fence. I'm totally in. Listen, even if it was a trend, okay, why not capitalize on it? Why not learn it? Why not immerse yourself in it? Even if it was a trend, because we were all sure that Instagram and, all social medias were just a trend, right? So we really don't know what 5 years from now is going to look. So what I would urge people is to stop using ChatGPT or whatever, or AI to just draft letters, but really to help you minimize, help you be more efficient. That's what it should be. It should be intelligence to add to what you already do. It's not about you creating a program through AI and, I got a program. It's about enhancing what you already have. It's, I didn't think of it this way. This is fantastic. But as a coach, I have to say, you can type all the, questions that you want. How would someone coach me on this? But AI can only provide the information. As a coach, we take that information and we provide the transformation, right?
Absolutely.
So you always need that human element in most cases. Like you and I mean, I could have a robot interview me, but I really enjoy seeing your smile and connecting with you and knowing that this conversation is going well.
Absolutely.
That fills our heart, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's the big debate of like, can AI really replace humans? And to a point, humans, our, I guess, benefit is the emotional side, the emotion, the sort of thought process, the computability that our brain has. I don't think for the foreseeable, isn't going to be AI is going to come close. So there's still an element of human touch and human, interaction that people want to see when they're speaking to somebody on the phone or when they're speaking to somebody on a live chat. It's not the case of they just always want an instant response from a robot who doesn't really understand what you need. It's, you want someone at the end of the phone who can really understand you as a human level, because if not, we're just going to go crazy talking to robots all day, isn't it?
I mean, I already feel crazy talking to myself all day. I don't need a robot, but it's nice when someone's on the other end going, yes, Nadia, that was...
I can relate. Even the case of being able to relate is such a powerful thing because, I doubt AI would have gone through the processes and the challenges you've gone through and the hardships you've gone through to get to your position. So even having somebody who can relate to
Yeah.
that is such a powerful thing, which is slowly, not being given the importance. But no, I really appreciate that, Nadia. Thank you. Now, I guess, what does the future look like for yourself, Nadia? Obviously, you've done so well and your business is growing, but what does the future look like? I know you probably have some big goals in the vision board and you want to achieve X, Y, Z for a certain amount, but what does the next 6 to 12 months look like? And perhaps even beyond that, what do you want to be remembered for? Is it a legacy thing? Is it like making an impact? Or is it very much, I want to hit these financial goals because that's what's most important to me? What does the future look like?
Yeah, thank you. So I think it's all of the above. I
Yeah.
absolutely want to hit financial goals because I have a family to provide for, and I have daughters, and I want them to know what it's like to be successful and to do what you like. But at the end of the day, it comes to the impact that I'm making. So when I'm talking to someone and I do a lot of virtual coaching and I can see, it's like in their eye or right when we're having a conversation, I can see that shift. There's not a powerful feeling that can top that. Like, it's like pure love, pure elation when I'm like, yes, you see it, because I see you so wonderful. You're such a wonderful person. And now you see it. It's amazing. So for me, I'm going to continue that. I think I'm going to continue to scale my business. So right now, my main focus has been on one-on-ones because I enjoy it so much. But time is, it's not on my side. I only have 24 hours a day and I have a family. So I'm going to be scaling it in terms of group coaching. So I want to make some more impact in numbers. And yeah, again, I think probably 10 years, maybe even less than that, maybe 5 years from now, I would love to have some partners, coaching partners who, we're all working together on a program that really helps us because, at the end of the day, it's the stories that we tell each other, the mind, the constant battle, the resilience that we show, all of those feelings that we have that really are so powerful and so telling of how we're living our lives. And I just want everyone to hug everyone and be like, you're loved, you're wonderful, you're safe. I just want you to believe that. So I want to be able to do that on a grand scale, and I'm working towards that. So group coaching in a 6 to 12 months, and then hopefully bigger than that.
Amazing. And then I guess even beyond that, would it be some case of maybe like a community, building a community around what you do and kind of having that
Absolutely.
lasting impact where people can network and collaborate and learn from each other? Is that perhaps what the next step is after group coaching and then getting it bigger into like community where people are
I
kind
would
of
say
thriving?
so. The word that came to my mind was an academy, but I don't really it's not an academy in the sense that, it's a rigorous, like I'm teaching you how to be, but I think you hit it in the head, a community. It's more of like, because your experiences, Harris, and the way that you show up every day, there's so much that I can learn from that. And then, Bob and Jeff and Natalie and that, they could all learn from that. It's kind of like a community where we all feel safe to share, and then keep moving the needle forward, right? Like keep moving forward. So thank you. I'm going to take that word from you. Is that okay?
Cool. My pleasure. My
Okay,
pleasure.
thank you so much.
I'm happy to give something back.
I love it. I love it. See, it's already a back and forth.
Absolutely. That's something AI can't do, isn't it? AI can't.
No.
Amazing. Now, I guess to wrap up on, what is the biggest piece of advice you'd want to give somebody or share to someone who perhaps is in your position when you started, or perhaps the biggest lesson you've learned in your journey of entrepreneurship that if somebody was to digest that, it could dramatically change the course of their career or their business? What would you say to that? Somebody sitting at the end of the phone, on some advice?
I think the biggest advice is you only know what you know at this present moment. So don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to pick somebody's brain. People are really wonderful and they're really open to connecting. And if you go up to someone who you admire and ask them, what can I pick your brain? How did you get here? Don't be afraid to do that. Learn from their mistakes. Learn what formula they use, apply it to yourself. And if that doesn't work, that doesn't mean you're a failure. I see failure as feedback. Is feedback, this didn't work. Okay, moving on to the next idea. Okay, go to somebody else. Figure out what works for you, but you don't have to do it alone. And I think that's the problem. We have the onus is on us to make this successful. Well, it takes a community, Harris. It takes a community, really. So build on that. Don't learn. And I think a lot of people think that communicating effectively is about talking. Like, oh, if I tell you all my points and I tell you exactly how I feel, this is going to be great. But communication is a two-way thing. It's a lot more about listening. So just kind of opening your ears and listening to what other people have can give you a lot of insights about how you need to show up for your people and what they have done that could work for you. I think that's probably the advice that I would give.
Amazing. Well, Nadia, with that, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. I've really enjoyed myself, and I hope you've enjoyed the conversations and found it beneficial. And I definitely believe that everyone listening has definitely learned something and got a lot of value. So massive thank you, Nadia. I can't thank you enough. Is there any closing comments or thoughts you might have for perhaps clients or potential clients or team members? Anything, somebody listening in that you might want to just say a few closing thoughts or comments?
Yeah, I would just say, that inner voice of yours that says, I want more. I just don't know how to get it. Just listen to it. Find the people that resonate with you. Talk it out. If talking is not for you, find what really works, but don't sit in your moments alone. Don't isolate yourself. Find your community, find your people, find your team, find your tribe, whether it's a coach, whether it's a coworker. But yeah, definitely just continue to connect and continue to show up.
Absolutely amazing. Again, massive thank you to you, Nadia. And thanks to everyone who tuned in today. We'll catch everyone next time. Bye-bye.